I couldn't believe my eyes. Simone, my spouse for 5 years, was shirtless on the lap of a guy in the hot tub below. Their expressions made it evident they were engaging in lovemaking activities. Fuming, I angrily filmed a brief video with my phone. Although I contemplated changing into swim trunks, I decided against it, opting to sit in the room pondering why she didn't want me at the party. Working as a secretary for SG Funds, a hedge fund company, for about a year, she seemed genuinely happy. Now the reason behind her contentment became clear. Earlier that week, I came across a text on her phone regarding a company Christmas party with an invitation. When I brought it up, she attempted to dissuade me, expressing concerns about potential boredom amidst financial experts discussing money. Puzzled, I inquired if she felt ashamed to be seen with me. She reassured me, noting it wasn't about embarrassment, but the anticipated dull discussions about money at the event. The monthly parties hosted by her company were typically for staff only, leading to Simone being away until late at night or the next day. I never made a fuss about it before, but now I gained insight into what unfolded at these events. My response was an understanding acknowledgement. She then mentioned that if I chose to attend, I should ensure my tax was cleaned. However, she cautioned me, expressing doubt that I would find the event enjoyable. On the day of the party, she suggested I bring swim trunks, and I questioned the appropriateness of swim trunks for a December Christmas party. She explained that they usually end up in her boss penthouse after the main party, which as an is hot tub. I acknowledged this information and she admitted that they do this pretty much every time. She then requested that I promise to be on my best behavior that night, to which I assured her that I always am, though it didn't sound promising. Curious, I asked why she was sharing this information with me. She explained that these parties could get kitty wild sometimes, and she didn't want me to get upset, mentioning that the guys there are kitty friendly and can get pretty handsy. I inquired about potential issues, stating that as long as everything passes the husband test, there shouldn't be any problem. In response, she smiled and kissed me on the cheek. Without verbalizing anything. At the main party, Simone introduced me to her friend Linda, stating that I was her husband. Linda smiled at me and questioned the term husband, suggesting that it was going to be fun and referring to Simone as a wild and crazy girl. Wondering about the meaning behind Linda's comment, Simone smiled and giggled. She informed me that she needed to go mingle and instructed Linda to accompany her to get something to drink, specifically asking for wine. Without giving me a backward glance, they left. I went to the bar, ordered her wine, and got a beer for myself. Despite scanning the area, Simone was nowhere to be found. I searched for her, but found no trace. After half an hour, I settled at an empty table, hoping she'd come looking for me. Meanwhile, I observed the lively dance floor, feeling ignored as people walked around me as if I were invisible. It seemed she was right. I wasn't having any fun, and I grew increasingly frustrated that my wife had abandoned me. After nursing my bear for a couple of hours, I decided to call it quits. If Simone wasn't going to spend time with me, I'd head home and leave her with her friends. As I walked to the entrance, Simone and Linda approached with 3 other guys, one with his arm around Simone's waist. Simone skipped introductions, expressing a slightly intoxicated greeting of "Oh, there you are." When she kissed me, I detected the taste of tequila and something else. I mentioned that I was about to go home since she had abandoned me 2 hours ago, asking where she had been. Simone blushed, avoiding eye contact as the guys smirked, and I chose not to confront them. Linda explained that they had been having a few shots. Simone looked puzzled at Linda's explanation, leaving me curious about the situation. I asked Simone about the shots, mentioning the taste of tequila and something else. She dismissed it, saying they were heading to Ben's place where the hot tub was warming up, and she asked if he was ready. He replied affirmatively and inquired if he would get to spend some time with her or if she planned to abandon me again that night. She assured me not to be silly and mentioned that he would see her later. She decided to ride with Linda and the guys, suggesting it was okay if he followed. He suggested she ride with me, but one of the guys grabbed Simone's hand and pulled her away, irritating me even more. They left with Simone and Linda following the guys, and laughter echoed as they departed. I got my car and followed them. Upon arrival, I saw Simone in a bikini, leaving me puzzled. When we got there, Simone was already in the hot tub with the two guys, later revealed as Ben and Dale, the senior partners in the firm. They seemed like nothing more than wealthy frat boys. After they went outside, Linda approached me and asked if he thought we could get together later tonight. He responded by asking what made her think he would be inclined to do that, emphasizing that he married. She expressed surprise, mentioning that she thought we had an open marriage based on Simone's interactions with other guys, especially the way Simone had kissed me earlier. Confused, he inquired about what she meant by the way Simone had kissed me earlier. Linda revealed that Simone had already been with Ben and Dale. Disgusted, he felt a wave of nausea and Linda's expression changed as she realized my shock. She exclaimed, "Oh my God, you didn't know, did you?" He admitted that he didn't and asked how long this had been going on. Linda disclosed that it had been happening ever since Simone joined the company over a year ago. Shocked, he processed the information, realizing that Simone had been involved with them the entire time and he had no idea. He questioned if that was what she was doing. At the party, Linda disclosed that Simone had been involved with two guys and a few others, expressing apologies and assuming he knew about it. She reassured me that Simone genuinely loved me, to which he replied sarcastically. Expressing skepticism about feeling the love, Linda suggested he go upstairs and change, hoping Simone would keep herself under control with my presence. He scoffed at the suggestion but headed upstairs. That's when he saw her with those two guys. Despite my love for her, he found it intolerable and decided to confront her. Going downstairs, Simone greeted me as he reached the bottom of the stairs, questioning why he wasn't in my bathing suit and if he was joining them in the hot tub. He grabbed her arm, pulled her into a nearby room and closed the door, demanding to know if she would ever tell me about having an open marriage. He mentioned what Linda had told me and played a video on my phone showing her with the two guys in the hot tub. He questioned the situation, wondering if she aimed to humiliate me further. After abandoning me at the party, Simone downplayed it, claiming they were just having fun, admitting to love-making acts with them and asserting it didn't mean anything. Shocked, he disagreed, emphasizing that it meant everything. He took off my wedding ring and placed it in her hand, then removed her rings from her left hand. She asked what he was doing and he told her he found her actions disgusting. Expressing my current hatred towards her, he wished her a Merry Christmas, mentioned he would be seeing a lawyer about a divorce on Monday, and instructed her not to bother coming home. Despite her pleas and declarations of love, he remained indifferent, stating that he no longer cared about her desires, asserting that he knew the truth, and understanding why she didn't want me to come with her. He bid farewell to Simone and left one of the guys uncertain which one called after me, questioning why he was leaving so soon and complimenting Simone. He replied, casually saying she was now theirs. Leaving the penthouse, he went downstairs to my car and drove home. Simone began calling and texting me, but he ignored her attempts to reach me. Upon arriving home, he deleted her messages and blocked her number. He changed out of my taxi, grabbed some trash bags and started tossing her clothes and things into them. He put them into her car and pulled it out of the garage. He removed the garage door opener and changed the code so she couldn't get back inside. By then it was about 2:30 am and he was dead tired. He fell on the bed and instantly went to sleep. He woke up the next morning to the sound of our house phone ringing. He picked it up without thinking. "Yeah," he said. When he answered, Simone called requesting me to come and get her. He responded that she was no longer my concern. She pleaded for a conversation, but he insisted that any communication could go through my lawyer. He informed her about her car being in my parking space with all her belongings packed and turning up. Despite her immediate callback, he disconnected the house phone. Having no intention of encountering her face or hearing her voice again, he fell back on the bed and went to sleep, plugging the phone back in when he got up that afternoon. After he finally woke up enough to be coherent, he looked and saw that her car was gone. Good, maybe she finally got the message. He started looking online for a divorce lawyer and read all he could find about the divorce laws in our state. This was a community property state, but we didn't own any real estate, so that wouldn't be an issue. We had no children, so there would be no child support. She made as much, if not a little more than me, so he didn't think there would be any alimony. He also found that while most divorces in this state were no fault, there was a provision to file on the basis of infidelity, cruelty or misuse that would make the divorce more costly and take more time to resolve. But he didn't care about that. After looking, he noted the number for one Jenny Hawkins, attorney at law, and decided to give her a call on Monday. While making notes, my cell phone rang and he noticed an unfamiliar number. Considering it could be Simone or anyone else, he chose to answer. A female voice identified herself as Linda and informed me that Simone was staying with her for a few days. He confirmed my intention to proceed with the divorce. Linda expressed concern for Simone, describing her as a wreck, crying in her room and feeling a nervous breakdown. He remained indifferent, stating that Simone brought it upon herself. Linda inquired about any lingering feelings he might have for Simone, to which he responded with current sentiments of hatred and disgust. He emphasized that Simone had been unfaithful for over a year and had the audacity to publicly humiliate me, leading to the conclusion that our relationship was over. Linda mentioned that Simone loves me and he responded skeptically, asking about Simone's actions after he left and the duration of their stay at the penthouse. He questioned if she slept with Ben and Dali. Again seeking clear answers. Linda acknowledged that they all got together after my departure to console Simone, suggesting he could have enjoyed the evening if he had stayed. He expressed his belief, asking where people like her came from and then ended the call saying goodbye. After hanging up, he noticed two text messages from familiar numbers that arrived early in the morning after he had gone to bed. Upon checking, he found videos attached to them. One message missed. One hell of a party, bro. He played the video and witnessed Simone engaging in love-making activities with three men at the penthouse. While Ben and Dale were recognizable, the third person was unfamiliar. The man he didn't recognize looked into the camera and spoke. "That's Kite a wife you have there, bra," he said with a grin. "Too bad you weren't here." The second video was more of the same, except it ended with Ben having my wedding ring. As Simone held it in her open hand, she looked at the camera with a smirk. My hatred for her only grew exponentially. He transferred the videos to my PC and made a copy of them for the lawyer. He thought about sending the videos to all of her friends and her family, but decided against it, at least for now. The info he got from Jenny's website indicated that he needed to be very careful about how he reacted to her actions. Any negative reaction on my part could easily undo my case. Her side weren't okay, so he decided to hold off for the time being. He didn't hear anything from Simone or Linda the rest of that day or the next, which was a good thing as far as he was concerned. He spent the remainder of the weekend eradicating Simone's presence from the apartment. On Monday, he reached out to my boss detailing the situation and took a brief vacation, recognizing my diminished worth. During this time, my boss, having experienced a divorce from an unfaithful spouse, empathized with my emotions. He contacted Jenny's office, scheduling an appointment for that afternoon. En route to the appointment, he visited the bank, implementing measures to disentangle her from our joint account. He settled her joint credit card and subsequently cancelled it, withdrawing half of our assets to establish a new account in my name. Jenny illustrated the divorce laws in our state and proposed pursuing alienation of affection laws against her employers. Acknowledging the uncertain outcome given the evidence he possessed, he entrusted her with the decision concerning the delivery of legal papers. He opted for their office, intending for them to experience a degree of the public humiliation they subjected me to over the past year. After our meeting, he paid a retainer and returned home. On the way, he received a call from Linda. "Hello?" he answered. She proposed a meeting with Simone that afternoon, to which he declined following my attorney's advice to maintain distance. She offered Simone's contact information after consulting with someone. After he provided Jenny's contact details, Linda attempted one last time to advocate for Simone. He firmly rejected any possibility of forgiveness, asserting that Simone could anticipate divorce papers soon. He concluded the call and proceeded home, stopping only to purchase a 12-pack of beer and a couple of packs of cigarettes. Having quit smoking when we first got married, he felt the need to engage in something to prevent destructive behavior. After arriving home, the house phone rang, and when he answered with a greeting, Ben Carlson, my wife's employer, identified himself. Recognizing his voice from the party and noting a more professional tone, he acknowledged knowing who I was and asked about his intentions. Ben expressed awareness of my upset feelings about the events on Friday and claimed that they thought he was okay with my wife's activities at company gatherings. He questioned if I knew she was married during all this and admitted yes, but explained that Simone had told them we had an open marriage and assumed he was okay with it. He pointed out that I never bothered to ask me about it and inquired about the videos they sent me on Friday night. Ben stated that the videos were Simone's idea and apologized, expressing regret for the situation. I asked if there was anything I could do to make it up to me, to which he responded by outlining my terms. He mentioned my intention to kick his balls into the middle of next week after I testified against her in court and the plan to sue him for alienation of affection. He made it clear that if I wanted to make amends, I should accept my terms without any argument and asked if I had anything else to add. I inquired if he was truly suing them and he affirmed, emphasizing their violation of their own morals clauses over the past year while destroying my marriage. I dismissed it, claiming it was a limb fan and they never intended to ruin my marriage. He questioned his expectations, expressing the belief that he would applaud them for their actions. He suggested I might have been influenced by internet stories. I pleaded, proposing that we could work through the situation, and I worried that a loss could ruin them. He dismissed it as not my problem and ended the call. Grabbing a beer, he went to the balcony for a smoke. He didn't hear from them until Wednesday, when they were served at Simone's office. Linda expressed disbelief at my actions, stating that he didn't give Simone a chance to explain and highlighting her current humiliation. He remained indifferent, stating that he didn't care about Simone's feelings after what she did, and instructed Linda not to call again. Slamming the phone down a few moments later, he received another call from a number he recognized as coming from Ben's office. He answered, yelling, and insulted me, threatening to kick my rear. He accused me of ruining his life and vowed to ruin mine in return. He slammed the phone down and called Jenny to tell her about Ben's threat. Good, she said. He filed for a temporary restraining order against Simone as well as her cohorts today. He make sure you get a copy of the order. Remember what he said. Don't do anything stupid. What if he comes after me? He asked. Make sure that you have witnesses and don't instigate anything, she said. He understood what she meant. Later that afternoon, there was a knock on the door. True to her word, Jenny had filed the throw and a courier had just delivered my copy. He decided to have my bed somewhat and purchased a small motion-activated camera to cover my front room, He also advanced Louisville's lager closet to the front door just in case. He figured if Ben or his accomplices intended to make good on their threats, he needed to have something for evidence and he needed some means of protection. Things remained relatively peaceful for the rest of the week. Thankfully, he didn't hear anything from Linda, Simone or her boyfriends until Saturday night. That is. I was sitting on my balcony nursing a beer and a cigarette when I heard my doorbell. That was followed up by pounding on the door. I ground out my cigarette and went into the front room and looked out the peephole in the door. Sure enough, it was Ben and he could discern someone with him. As the pounding on the door continued, he shouted for me to open up, claiming he was violating a restraining order. He informed him that he was calling the police and they protested, yelling for me to open the door. He continued dialing emergency and when the operator answered, he explained the situation at my door. The operator informed me that they had received multiple calls for that area and dispatched cruisers to my location. They advised against opening the door until the officers arrived, and he thanked them before ending the call. The pounding on the door continued and he wondered if Ben was going to break it down. Clutching the bad tire, he waited and heard a commotion. Looking through the peephole, he saw two large police officers putting cuffs on Ben and the other man with him. The officer knocked on my door, identifying themselves as police. He opened the door and Ben looked at me as the officer led him back to the cruiser, yelling threats. The officer asked if he knew him and he nodded, showing him a copy of my throw. He read it, spoke into his radio and informed me that they would be taking them downtown for the night. He explained my story and thanked me for the cooperation, expressing that he didn't think Ben would have me trouble for a while. He closed and locked the door, then returned to my balcony with a fresh beer. The news of Ben's arrest hit the papers the next day with the headline reading "He found so arrested." Over the next few days, articles revealed that several clients were leaving SG due to the company's involvement in ruining employees' marriages, impacting their bottom line. He thought would returning to work the following Monday. It was challenging, but he managed to get some work done. After about 3 weeks of no contact, he received a call from Jenny. She greeted me and asked how he was holding up. He replied that he was doing as well as could be expected. Jenny informed me that Simone had obtained an attorney and they petitioned the court for marriage counseling. The judge had agreed, ordering 6 sessions starting that week. He inquired if they could mandate marriage counseling and Jenny affirmed that they could. She advised me to attend, explaining that not showing up could result in contempt of court and eventual. He expressed my unwillingness to reconcile with Simone and Jenny understood but emphasized the importance of my attendance. He reluctantly agreed and Jenny mentioned that if the counselor perceived no hope for reconciliation, they would inform the judge. He asked if there was anything else and Jenny revealed that Simone's attorney informed her of Simone's pregnancy. He expressed frustration at the prospect of waiting another 8 or 9 months for any legal actions. Jenny confirmed this delay, adding that if the child is mine, he would be ordered to pay child support. On a positive note, she informed me that the judge approved a legal separation until Simone gives birth. He sarcastically commented and Jenny provided the counselor's address. Wishing me luck, he noted the information on my calendar. He decided that he would make it clear in no uncertain terms there was no way he would ever reconcile with the cheater. When he got to the counselor's office, he was ushered right in. A somewhat older woman looked at me over her glasses. Simone sat across from her in a love seat, looking somewhat forlorn. He had a very bad feeling about this. The counselor, Dr. Abigail Farnsworth, introduced herself and suggested he sit next to Simone on the love seat, opting for a smaller wooden chair at a 45-degree angle to the love seat. He expressed my lack of choice in being there. Dr. Farnsworth acknowledged this but conveyed her satisfaction that he attended. She then turned to Simone and inquired about her hopes for the sessions. Simone expressed her desire to reunite with me, emphasizing the upcoming baby and the wish to be a family again. I reacted with derision and Dr. Farnsworth turned to me asking about my expectations. I responded, expressing my desire for her to understand that reconciliation was not on the table. Nodding in Simone's direction, I noticed Simone recoiling at my statement. Dr. Abigail nodded in response to my statement about not reconciling for the sake of the child. She asked if I would consider it for the child's sake, to which I reiterated my doubt about being the father and my commitment to support the child if it turned out to be mine. However, I firmly stated that reconciliation with Simone was out of the question. In response to her repeated question about the child's sake, I took out my phone and showed Abigail the videos that were sent to me, hoping to convey the depths of betrayal. She appeared disgusted after watching them, and as I put my phone away, I remarked on her marital status. I questioned how she would feel if the roles were reversed and it was her husband in those videos, emphasizing the continuous betrayal over more than a year, and even in front of her, she insisted that the focus should be on the two of us and the upcoming child. I informed Dr. Abigail that Simone had a child to consider, expressing my doubt about being the father and expressing a desire for answers from Simone. Abigail, after a moment of consideration, nodded and suggested Simone would me some answers. Simone, looking down and appearing sheepish with a face burning in embarrassment, finally looked up and agreed to provide the answers. Abigail then gave me the opportunity to speak, and I turned back to Simone. I inquired if she knew what was going to happen on the night of the party, and she affirmed. I asked if that was the real reason she didn't want me to go, and she admitted it. Reflecting on the terrible experience, I accused them of planning to humiliate me, to which she reluctantly agreed. I further questioned if the intention was to humiliate me even more at Ben's place, and she confirmed it. Appearing sheepish, I questioned Simone about the duration of her involvement with the other men at SG, and she admitted it had been ongoing since she joined the company. Puzzled, I asked for the reason behind her actions, to which she casually replied that she enjoyed it, finding it fun, naughty and exciting, making her feel handsome. When I inquired about the number of men she had been with, excluding me, she nonchalantly mentioned around 4 or 5 dozen. I expressed shock at the revelation, emphasizing the potential risks of venereal diseases. Outraged, I asked if she knew the father of the child she was carrying, and she admitted uncertainty. Confronting her expectation for me to raise and financially support the child, I criticized her, stating my lack of love for her anymore and expressing a strong resentment, even hoping for a negative outcome. Simone and the others appeared shocked by my words, and Simone seemed on the verge of tears. Though my anger remained unabated in my attempt to inflict more emotional pain, Abigail intervened, signaling that I had made my point. I rejected the notion that I was discarding 5 good years of marriage, attributing the breakdown to Simone's infidelity. I contested the characterization of our marriage as 5 good years, emphasizing that the last year wasn't genuine, especially after Simone's admission of involvement with 48 to 60 men and uncertainty about the paternity of her child. Abigail concluded the session stating her intention to conduct individual sessions with each of us before determining the next steps. We scheduled our appointments for the next week and left. Simone called out to me in the parking lot, but I ignored her and went to my car, observing Simone sobbing over her steering wheel as I drove away. I harbored a sense of satisfaction, thinking it was fitting for her to experience some emotional pain. Later that night, I received an in-ride call from Linda blaming me for Simone's condition. She conveyed that Simone was in the hospital due to a mishap, and she accused me of mistreating her. I defended myself, asserting that I merely spoke the truth, contrasting it with Simone's actions over the past year. Linda questioned my apparent lack of concern for Simone being in the hospital, to which I responded indifferently. She criticized me as a loser and emphasized that I should at least provide insurance information as Simone was still legally my wife and I would be responsible for the bills. After a moment of reflection, I decided to visit Simone in the hospital. Acknowledging the information Jenny had shared earlier, Linda provided me with the room details and upon arrival approached the nurse providing my insurance information and briefly discussing Simone's condition with the doctor. He inquired about the cause of the miscarriage, to which the doctor explained the complexities of pregnancies, leaving the specific cause uncertainty. Curious about the duration of the pregnancy, he learned that Simone was approximately 9 or 10 weeks alone, leaving a possibility that the child could have been mine. Nevertheless, he considered it inconsequential as the miscarriage signaled the opportunity to proceed with the divorce. After inquiring about Simone's well-being from the doctor who assured me she would be fine, he entered her room. She appeared distressed in the bed, tears in her eyes. Linda, positioned at the end of the bed, expressed her displeasure, to which he responded with a growl, causing her to retreat from the room. Facing Simone, he acknowledged the finality of our relationship. She questioned whether he truly hated her as much as he had claimed earlier, and he admitted that at that moment the intensity had lessened. However, he emphasized that reconciliation was out of the question, given the breach of trust she had demonstrated. Expressing my frustration, he conveyed how each trip she made to the store left me wondering if she was involved with the checkout clerks. He questioned the sudden turn of disrespect, emphasizing that he had treated her exceptionally well throughout our years together. She denied any wrongdoing on my part and acknowledged my role as a devoted husband and lover. However, he countered, stating that if that were the case, she would have resisted the advances of others. She admitted succumbing to the influence of others who claimed that it was normal for husbands to witness their wives with other men. He dismissed her explanation, emphasizing that the divorce was inevitable and any attempts to salvage the relationship were futile. In response to my decision, she tearfully accepted, agreeing to inform her lawyer. The next day, he sternly clarified that any hopes of friendship were unrealistic. Despite her apologies, he remained resolute in my decision to end the marriage. He looked at her for a few moments. "Yeah," he said as he started to leave her room. "Goodbye, Simone." He could hear her cry as he walked away. "Tough luck," he thought. "Good riddance." A few days later, he received a call from Jenny. True to her promise, Simone abandoned all objections to the divorce. Abigail wrote a report stating that reconciliation was impossible. She suggested he undergo anger management. However, the judge concurred and made a similar recommendation. Although she stopped short of making it a court order, Jenny managed to secure settlements from SG funds as well as Ben and Dale. About a month later, she handed me the largest check he had ever seen in my life. "That's minus my fee, of course," she said. "Certainly," he replied. He deposited the check and moved on with my life, such as it was. Update SG or Salem and Gemare, as he often thought of it, shut its doors. Approximately 6 months later, it appeared that clients lost trust in the company's financial integrity. Wonder why? I cynically mused to myself. Ben and Dale remained silent after that incident at the apartment. Both served a 30-day stint in the county jail for their stand and seemed keen on avoiding a repeat. With their reputations tarnished in the community, they sought a fresh start on the West Coast. Simone and Linda continued sharing the same apartment, transitioning to employment in a strip mall retail store specializing in women's clothing and cosmetics. He encountered them occasionally but never acknowledged their presence. Remaining single, he casually dated over the next couple of years. Eventually, he met Claire Hansen, a recent divorcee, and we embarked on a slow and easy dating journey for a few months. Like me, she had experienced the pain of infidelity in her previous marriage. Understanding her head, he provided all the support he could. In the initial weeks, our activities revolved around conversations or outings for dinner and a movie. Recognizing her vulnerability, he took the team to engage in comforting activities, such as holding hands and enjoying leisurely strolls through the park. Despite finding her attractive, he opted to let her take the lead. After a delightful dinner at her condo, she observed me with a curious intensity, questioning whether he found her appealing. Responding with a smile, he assured her of my attraction, stating that it extended beyond physical aspects. Curious about my lack of initiative, she playfully inquired if he liked girls. My response conveyed a positive outlook on the situation.